Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host Asaron, and I caught a little bit of sickness the other day. Got a little flu, I think. So I'm very tired, but I fight on. I have a goal. I have a plan. And that plan, wait for no man, but me. Welcome. Welcome one and welcome all. So the other day I was playing around with this forest. Let's continue with that. This is me basically experimenting on how to portray a thick, luscious and varied forest. Without any further ado, let us begin. For this, you need an application of your choice. First, you open up the recording software of my choice, then open up a template in whatever image editor I have, and start looking up bonsai trees. And why bonsai? Because those trees are sculpted from the ground up to look fabulous, fantastic, and thusly they are perfect for the purpose of crafting a forest. If I sound a little bit today, it's because I am a bit sick. I will eventually pass over, but I have to carry on with my plan. Carry on, my wayward son. There is hope for you when you're done. You cry for my soul anymore. So here is of course the question. Scale. Well, I've made a decent thing here. I still need to think a bit of scale. Then again, I realize it's a giant ass forest made of trees. Scale is a bit secondary concern, really. After all, it's going to be a big ass wall of trees. Why? Because I like shrubbery, I like green stuff. Ja, vad gör vi då i det konceptet? Character high, 3 at least this high. Sure, I'm basing it on on bonsai trees. Sure, you look up reference pictures, but how many other people have done this? I'm not sure if that's the right way to go with the shrubs. So here's a bit of a trial and error. Because I have limited limitations is key. Carry on my wayward son. There will be peace for you when you're done. Okay, so experiment number 1. Alright, here is light from above, darkness below. But due to it being translucent, it's all the thick of it is always a bit darker. So we sort of have a bit of a glow. Experiment number 1. No. No, 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 no. I'm not gonna need to just go with individual leaves. Let's make a good clump and then just duplicate, duplicate, duplicate. The trick is also... Oh, hello. Welcome. Yeah. Oh, nice of you to drop by. How's it going, human robot? Let's see. That's good. Can't say the same. I'm working on an RPG thing. A top, you know, the typical, almost a top-down style. Well, I have the flu. So right now I'm just making a... I'm just figuring out how to make a forest labyrinth. Labyrinth in the forest. So I basically just sketch up, duplicate it a lot, and no, I'm trying to sculpt... Not trying, I am sculpting trees. After all, art direction and world building is the key factors here, really. Oh, plus it's a good exercise. Yep. There's a lot of duplication though, but still. With all graphics, unless you use copy-paste things from an asset store, it's gonna be the same process regardless. You need to make all the assets, make them look the same, and fit them into the world in an organic way. You know, if you have a 2D sprite going on, you don't import the spider with a human for a head on top of it. And I'm sure some people have, but I'm certainly not. So... Oh, damn it. That's a bad background color to work on. So, yeah. Basically, right now I'm trying to figure out a fine way to make a canopies. And then trunks. After all, a tree is more or less just a clump. So let's see. This is too... I need, let's see, shape, right. So make it a dome shaped. Essentially just a dome. That should work fine. Keyword is should. There is really no shortcut for doing this. But that's also the satisfying part, is making it work right. Making it look okay. And making it from the ground up. Basically, make all the assets in whatever software, and they design the game on a paper, make all assets, and then start screwing them together. Start cobbling them together in an engine. That's the plan. Probably Unity or Game Maker. Probably Unity though. Technically I could use RPG Maker, but I don't like that software. It's clunky and it's just very clunky and annoying to use, I find. They put in too few shortcuts for their tools. And I don't like the tile logic. Right. Select, deselect, fill all those. So the idea is that once you shade it properly, you can sort of just keep stacking them until it becomes a canopy. That is the idea, at least. Or should I say, that is the most sane way to do this. Oh, it's a world, I'm an adventurer trying to get. It's a world that got shattered by cataclysm, and now they're basically just trying to find the source. So I have a party of unlikely heroes that eventually will join up and figure out what the hell went on. And maybe fix it, or maybe not. Essentially, the world got inspired by how people who likes the idea of a flat Earth keeps talking about how a world is supposed to look, how the Earth is supposed to be. So I more or less designed a flat world, artificial world that is. Just for fun. I know I'm making a story for it and fleshing it out. Azimuthal equidistant projection. Yeah, okay then. So yeah, it's an party venturing through a shattered world. Full of monsters and other not so and stuff. Ah, right. Yeah, it's just that that phrase is very. Sort of like that, except that I went I just designed this for shits and giggles, really. So yeah, when I say it in a planet that has a flat Earth that got shattered, I mean it. And the only thing sustaining the different shards are force fields. Otherwise, it will just fall. It will just venture into the void. So yeah, thank you. So yeah, that's the. Indeed, it's planning out where the different geographical locations and what the different areas are supposed to look like. Right, what theme they have and what scenery. And like, for example, you begin. Here's lush and green. And then you go over to a place where all the water basically has vanished. It's evaporated. Then you get over to a place with no air. And here's like the rest of the ocean. And then a mountain range. And a power plant. And then basically the power sector. So up here is like industry and farming. with a crater in the middle. So yeah, I have a plan. You can't embark on a project like this without a plan. Well, you can, but if you do that, well, you're in for pain. Nope, that is more or less the end goal. To find a way to get to the center. Of the crater. No, sorry, I just like the idea of that. The idea of a universal accelerator is where essentially there's like a giant engine under pushing upwards, which is why there is gravity. It just sounds so sci-fi fantasy-ish that it's too good to not use it for something. Yeah. Well, thank you. And yeah, that is the plan. As I have most of the story thought out, and just need to fill in all the gaps and design the world and all of that. And get some good teaser screenshots and such. And I have a sort of rough design. It's still a bit in debate about that one though. Let's see. It should be here somewhere. I have so many. There's just a lot going on here. Let's see. And it's probably. Here was just did some quick sketching. I am not entirely sure what to approach yet, but the idea is like a typical mage, sort of like a mixture of a stage magician and a wandering wizard. Is what I have so far. Still, I haven't planned it out just yet. But I'm getting there. Oh, thank you. And yeah, I have a plan, you see. It's just so many things to do, and it takes a bit of time. Yep. Essentially, my idea was just basically put the world in a. Even though it's artificially made by a powerful being, it's still like a. It's the style is roughly taken from before internet and cell phone were a thing. So it's sort of one part future, one part, well, suits and fancy suits and hats, I suppose. It also negates the thing that if it's too easy to communicate and move around, wouldn't be much in the way. You need to go so insane directions in order to make it believable that the characters can't get there. Ah, I see. Yeah, I've seen that the future past man with knowledge of the future in the past concept before. It's quite air guns. Yeah, that could work. You know, I suppose you could technically, in that regard, you could probably maybe get a blacksmith to make like an airtight, like an air canister, like a pressurized canister, and you just find a way to keep the air pressure. Make a pump, so you just do the typical. You just pump up the rifle with air, and then you can shoot projectiles. Girandoni rifle. Ah, never heard of that one. But I do know that I have the typical air gun here in Norway. I have a typical air gun. It's basically you breach it open, insert the ammo, and then you close it again, and then it has pressure in the chamber. Ah, okay. Well, it shouldn't be impossible to pull off. And it would certainly be a lot more practical than dealing with a... Indeed. And also we don't have to deal with volatile gunpowder which causes a giant plume of smoke that will obscure vision and make you go deaf. No, let's see here. That sort of works, but it becomes a bit... it looks a bit weird when with the stacking, though. Yeah. That could work. So yeah. But I suppose as long as you can create some sort of a vacuum inside, it should work. I'm not too familiar with air guns in general. The closest is I just seen the concept for one being made from a fire extinguisher. Oh yes, I know, but it's just that the concept is just interesting, and is one thing I actually haven't seen in most in series really, when they try in any series when they try to go with the whole learning using future technology in the past. It's like they always go with gunpowder. But just the idea of an air rifle that's quite brilliant actually. And I know for a fact I haven't seen that before. Those going around. This is my quiet killing stick. It's probably not as epic as saying this is my boomstick. and scaring the crap out of people by having an explosion in their face. Right, the pain of tree trunks. I just never quite can agree with making them look okay. Maybe. On top of each other, stacking, that wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. We'll see. First of all, I'm just going to design a couple of areas. So I realized that if you sort of just make a whole the place from the ground up, right, and then you add a collision mask on top of that and layering, it's gonna look a lot more interesting than just stacking tiles like a chessboard. Sure, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just I want something more, you know, more enticing. Because I'm an artist, and I need to show off my art. I want to show off my art instead of just, you know, RPG Maker. Well, that's sort of the plan. But actually, when it comes to architecture style, I'm going with Empire style. For at least the two first towns, gonna be Empire style. It's basically where every building more or less looks like some sort of French palace from, with a lot of pillars, figurines, and ornate surfaces. So we're first gonna go with the concept of a, you know, a world, artificially made world. Of course it's gonna be a sculpted one. Ideally, all location needs to almost look like they could be a postcard. That idea I got from a short a short story that came with original Elite Frontier Elite game, where there was a booklet with a lot of small stories from the universe, where one of them described a planet that was designed by landscape art, where it was terraformed by landscape architects. So everything was a sculpted, custom, all locations were custom made to look beautiful, and it had a tendency to be very overwhelming for most people to be there for too long. So yeah. Ah, right, Halo, a ring world. No, I do believe Vanquish utilized the idea of a ring world a bit better though. But still, it's also an interesting concept for making an artificial habitat in space. Yeah, of course. Floating islands are always fun. Not too shabby, not too shabby. Could use more work, but still. It's a tree. But yeah, floating islands with waterfall. Those are always nice. Yeah, that also. Incomplete sections indeed. No, let's see. But first of all, I'm just going to design a whole at least 5 or 6 trees, and then some shrubbery. And then combine them in creative ways with the canopy. Yes, actually I have. But color correction and all of that is something can probably do a bit later. Right now I'm just trying to establish the different elements. I can tweak them afterwards. Nah, I appreciate the input. I don't have any problem with that. That would just be silly. Sort of, if there was no conversation, it would sort of ruin the point about streaming it in the first place, you know. There's a little bit of the concept behind it also. Just talking about is basically playing with, discussing the concept and bouncing ideas. Also, it's hardly backseat gaming when I'm not gaming. Haha. Alright. Right, light and shadow. One, two, three colors, four colors. Ooh, goody goody. Ah, the food of the champions. Oh, I made more light and shadow. There we go. There's a good shrubbery. Yes. There's some good leaves. Right. So you put it on the underlying layer and play around a bit with light and shadow. I have a certain idea of what I'm doing, and for the most part, a canopy is copy paste. Because that actually works surprisingly well. Well, at least that's my professional opinion. Well, essentially, since we're talking the concept is sculpted, I am basically using bonsai trees for reference. So the idea here is light and shadow coming together, and then sort of just have it from the above. So the idea is, that means I need to actually consider where light and shadow falls, I suppose. A lot of old games manage to get away with having like 3 carefully placed colors to convey most surfaces. I have more than that, but I'm still going to keep the amount of colors down. Those to give it a very crisp and consistent look. The concept of bonsai trees is essentially they are you're sculpting miniature trees to look whatever to grow in specific ways, stunt their growth and making them tiny. Though thusly they always look incredibly good. Which is why I also use them for reference. Let's face it, if you're gonna make a tree without any references, it's gonna end up being... Yeah, there's a canopy. Here is like a... Then it's just gonna look like this. And then you add a house. That's more or less what happens if you have no reference. We go with a vague recollection of images of an idea in your head about what it is. But without references, you will never get the details. You will always forget and omit and neglect the details. A bit like, you know, the first challenge in pretty much any art class is draw a light bulb from memory. So, let's see. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. So if we take each of these canopy pieces and put them on their own space, yes, so nothing wrong happens to them. It should be fine, right? Just line them up like a sprite sheet. One or two. Right. So I need at least 5 different trees. I mean, I can sort of just making them overlap and happy fun stuff, right? Sort of even you just differentiate them enough and then just put them across the forest to make a wall. and then just add all the things in between. That is the working idea, at least. Yeah, so it seems like most bonsai essentially just takes different twigs, interesting shaped twigs and roots from trees, and give them just enough water to make them grow again, and then tweak them to heck and back. Interesting. That's interesting indeed. Does it have any bearing on what I'm doing? Probably not. I'll just take an interesting trunk shape and add different kinds of canopies to it. And it generally works out for the best. Ooh, yeah. Oh, I suppose that works. I don't know. Contagious. Turn off. Right. So if we go with that for the bases, and just make another canopy. Well, I need a little bit of variety. No. No. Being sick is not very fun. But I shall get over it. It's gonna take a couple of days. I am a man with a plan. After all. And a plan waits for no man. Right, the art of making. It's gonna take a bit of a while, regardless if this will take a bit of time, but there's no shortcuts. The closest to industrial shortcut that exists is the software speed tree, and that's for 3D really. These ain't 3D. Because 3D modeling has its own can of worms to deal with. When it comes to design. But I suppose from a logistic point of view, maybe I need a bit more fruit trees, more edible plants, instead of just fancy looking ones. So making them fancy looking and edible, just to sprucing up the scenery a bit, with edible plants, flowers, fruit. But here is also the rabbit hole when it comes to world building. Microbiology. Does spiders, bugs, rats and rodents exist? Or do they not? So why does microbiology has anything to say? Well, does it include bugs, giant bugs, spiders and murderous monstrosities? No, can you have... you know, it would also be fun to have a couple of murderous arachnid. But if there's no spiders in the world, then those become a bit sketchy to say the least. Ugh. I caught a flu just for you. Whoop-dee-doo-dee-doo. I suppose that is starting to get somewhere. Gotta be creative with leaf placement. Make a custom canopy. With some degree of duplication involved. Mostly for sanity's sake, and because only so many times in a row you have to draw the same texture, or the same thing, the same object. After all, it's a very old classical trick to basically just reuse pieces a lot. There is a reason why a lot of the buildings, like you say in Assassin's Creed and such, they look strangely similar, no matter where you go in Greece. Yeah, that works. That's gonna work. It's gonna be. I still needed to shading, right? Shading. Ah, short. Nope, that's gonna be too. I'm thinking that's too big. It's gonna be small, slim, and sharp, pointy blades. Oh yeah. This is gonna go well. This is gonna take a heck of a long time. Not really. It's gonna take a bit of patience. Yeah, how long is that gonna take? So I suppose this whole the idea is more or less the same approach as you do in matte painting in an animated show and such, is that on the background needs to be lavishly painted and decorated and look really awesome, and at the same time being simple enough to convey what's going on. So yeah, the simplest thing though is switching the colors around. Oh, if it's gonna be green or not, I'm still a bit in debate about that. But don't worry, I have a plan. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. So first generous supply of highlights. It's gonna be the highlight of my day. Hey, I never said it wasn't going to be. At least I'm not going to do something insane as animating it. That would be... that would be stupid. It would be awesome, but at the same time, it would be a very stupid thing to do. Because I only have so much time, energy and resources. And it's going to be a pain enough to deal with water. Whoa, whoosy. Yeah, I'm totally ship shape. Very... everything is just fine. We see. Yeah. Yes, even though you probably just go to bed again. But I don't want to. I've been sleeping for way too many hours to shake off this flu. Oh, and more, a bit more shadow here, a bit more shadow there. A bit reckless shadowing. I'll speed this up a bit. There's at least 3 colors plus a black outline I'm insisting having because I'm a fan of comics, so I'm just gonna go with a bit comic approach when it comes to outlines. Oh yeah, gorgeous. Yes, totally good enough. Well, the interesting thing here, right, is I can pretty much just do and change the color. I can do like this. It becomes bright, shiny pink. That's the great thing with using the software. Typical color to portray trees in is usually brown, but in all honesty, I am usually a bit more grey, white. Oh yeah. So put in highlight here. Yeah. That could work. Right. And what the hell? No. You are not supposed to move around, you shit thing. Ugh. Right. I need to work a bit on making the textures, I suppose. But if I put them thick enough and just consistent enough, you will not see the forest for you will not see the tree for the forest. Or what to see the forest for the trees. But to be honest, it doesn't look not bad. Not bad at all. I impressed myself today. Um, 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 I'll just make a giant fluffy canopy. That's gonna be the backdrop, and just gonna copy paste it. This big fluffy ball. Hey, what the fuck? No. Ah, flog. Yeah. That could. I should work. Right. A couple of more layers, just. Oh, wow. Ooh, we see. Hmm. Damn it. Damn it. Dang it. Carp. Yes, this is gonna work, but I need to be a bit careful about this approach. Righto, right. We need light made bright. Ooh. I should probably change the color at the bottom after I was done with the highlights and drop shadow. So light comes from the top. Find the 4 colors then. So the plan is I'm just a bit lost in my own thoughts here because I'm plugged. Oh yeah. Wait. I need to rethink the bottom. I still need to be a bit bright. So, line, select, connect, and fill. Right. Nice. Nice. Eh, eh. Can I just copy paste, put in an underlying layer? As for science. Was not a bad idea thus far. Let's see. Da. Contract by one. Alright, so I'm still a bit iffy on the wood though. It's so stiff and woody. They'll need a lot of work when it comes to trunk texture though. Oh, sheesh. Oh, there comes the color shivers again. Ooh, boy, then there's a bit of headache. Oh, lovely. You know, it's very good with this approach, right? Let's have some couple of fancy ones in the front. So I'm gonna need to adjust the color layering of it. No, come on. B for brush. Aha. So if you do it like this, right, and I still need to work a bit on the trunk design, but still. Yeah, I still need to work on the forest, but still. Let's see, just switch around the color for this one to a bit different shade. Right. Here we go. The good old classical trick of duplication. Dubious duplication. Moss. Well, I've been at this for 2 hours. Yeah, I'm impressed myself. Whoa, I have great. I can see the light in the roof in the ceiling, and it's not very appealing. Don't you love it, having being itchy, scratchy? No. Right, I should start taking taking flu shots, I suppose. Really? Why is it that I move the cursor over the chat window? It keeps going upwards. Oh. No. Yes. There's one thing a bit. Only one thing that isn't quite right here, though. Probably adjust. Too flat at the bottom. Yeah. So I don't know what it is, but I'm just oozy. Z Oh, moss covered rocks and such. I love those, but that's going to be a dicky to deal with. Need to find an approximation method to do that. Weird. Oh, right. Fine, I know what the problem was. Oh, yeah, working on RPG idea. And yeah, diagonal pieces in pixel art. Oh, sorry, I didn't notice you there. The bot was bugging out on me. Geesh, how inconsiderate. Oh, welcome. So the idea is really just you just draw a pretty picture. Because memory isn't really much of a concern, right? You just draw the picture, and and you sort of just add a, let's say this area is where you're supposed to be able to go. I will just designate that as a walk area. Because that is the old, that's the way most Sega games and such did it. They basically had one big level. So I'm just fighting a bit with the overlay of the chat because I couldn't see half of it, and it kept scrolling upwards. So yeah, hey, something went wrong with the chat. But yeah. Okay. So I actually do have a grid. My point is I just make a whole series of different elements with the different walls and sides, and then combine them into one. Yeah, essentially it is an RPG style top where one face is one front facing one front pointed face, and you see the top as well. So here was just the work in progress sketch I did yesterday. As you see, just check out the viability of my idea. So yeah, I do have a grid made of 32 by 32 pixel. Yeah. That means I can just because a traditional way to do is more or less you just the most usual way you see it done is kind of pretty much any RPG uses, like everything from Pokemon to RPG Maker to, yeah, you get the drift, you get the gist of it. from the original Star Wars student was called the Yusan Wong. Made a biotechnology use coral ships. Oh, okay, reading the new Jedi Order, and it really fascinated me. Have you thought of doing the trees modular and then setting them up so you can change the color in script? Could save on memory. The file size. But yeah, I do actually. At the moment, I'm just using Photoshop. I'm not using an engine at the moment whatsoever. It's a simple image editing. Just to check the viability, just experiment with art direction and layout. So yeah, this is simply Photoshop. There's no point in working on the engine if you don't have any elements to import into it. Well, there is, but there is a logic behind this. I have a plan and I more or less know what I'm doing. If an engine, I'm gonna slowly but surely start looking into Unity, I suppose. Because it's practical and efficient. So it's either Unity or Game Maker, I suppose. It's Unreal. I mostly associate Unreal with 3D. With 3D and wobbly physics. Like Trine on Unreal Tournament. So yeah. I know it's possible to do 2D in Unity these days, so that shouldn't be much of a problem. Wait. One in the middle, do it this side. No, that's not how you do the pattern. You want it repeating. Let's see. One at make a star shape. Where going one up. One over there. So here is a practical experiment. In order to make a wall of trees, this should be more than enough. So essentially, just model a wall of trees. So duplicated. Oh, god dang it. Pro tip, don't get sick. It sucks. Right, so... No. Not to that layer. Come on, there we go. Sure. So, the idea is simple here, really. Make a labyrinth by simply just stacking a whole bunch of trees on top of each other. And you just have a couple in the forefront, along with different variation, like a decorative layer. Then you have the actual layer combined with a... and you combine it with a... let's see. And you combine that layer with a... what was I gonna say now? Ugh, curses. And you just put a collision mask under. By having the trees being its own entity. So you can roughly go under here. A memory isn't a big concern these days. So, anyways, this is the working idea. For the forest at least. So if we go with that idea though. And I just, yes I can. There's like for say for example that this is the goal. And sort of carve out a labyrinth in order to get there. Well, the original idea, before the forest went out of control, the tower more or less looked like this. Here's the main road, here's the road up to the tower. And like here would then be the entrance. And this would be the exit. So a straight line with nothing to find, it works, but that is also very boring. Now I just assume the forest starts roughly around here, for example, right? But the trick here is also not to make the labyrinth potentially too big. Or too long, because that would be very... well, from a design perspective, yeah, I don't like it when it takes too long to pass through an area. Ooh. Nobody said a toad had to be mandatory, though. Yeah. So, if I just do it along the line of these, and the forest just goes down here. Oh, oops. Well, here is the thought process, though. Essentially, in order to get through the forest, you more or less just follow the road. But if you go off the beaten path, you get a clue, like for example here is a path, but you can't go through there, so you need to go around. For example, that is one way to do it. So yeah. Well, let's just put this idea into practice. Into practice, eh? Holy crap, the software haven't crashed yet. That is actually surprising, I would say. So yeah, this is like the classical way of, I suppose, of doing a labyrinth. I'm just still a bit on the iffy side about exactly how to do this, but I have faith in my ability to pull this off. After all, this is a very classical trick of the trope. And I like a good forest in any game, really. I'm seeing one little thing probably needed to work on, but still. Here, this is like the idea on how I'm setting up everything. But I don't have to be too mechanical either, so why? Well, because that's going not going to be too mechanical. It would ruin the idea of the forest in the first place. I'm still a bit of debate with myself about the proper approach and my end goal. But worry not, I have a bit of a plan here. So here we go. Right, so this is like just an experiment at the moment. The work in progress, if you will. So this is more or less the approach I am contemplating, considering, and most likely be implementing. Of course, that means the trunks need a lot more variation and planning, but still. Like I said, this is a bit of experimental, but worry not. I have a plan. Worry not, minions. I have the power, the knowledge. Of course, this much copy pasting is in a bit of poor taste when it comes to making it look awesome and variation, but it's just to cement the idea. Right. Once you get down to ground level, right, and you just implement basically a custom collision mask. By far, grids are the most smooth, clean, and approachable way to deal with game design in the way, just because we can make it pixel perfect and precise. Oh yeah. Of course, you're gonna need to include a lot more variation into this mess, but still. I know what I'm doing, more or less. As essentially, it's the same trick that, let's say, for example, Resident Evil use, and Silent Hill is basically have a pre-rendered environment and pre-rendered picture with collision detection added onto it. Of course, I'm still gonna work a bit more on the spacing and all of that. Naturally, but still. This is just to organize my thought process about it. Of course, what I've just made isn't pixel perfect, and it's not the final approach anyways, but just needed to try it and just organizing my thoughts. So, here is a good example on how it it will probably work. Of course, it's going to require a lot of a lot more planning, a lot more variation, not to mention beautification. So that means I need to make a crap load of variation on the whole trunk setup as well. So I can keep squeezing in tree trunks and more. Of course, keep in mind is just placeholding. Right, proper layer. Ja. Så ser det bara, men det är wow. Groovy, dude. Just feeling a bit under the weather today. Yeah. 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 It comes with the season. It comes with the season, it doesn't leave without a reason. It's here to stay. Soon, but eventually it will pass. That's what I certainly hope. Oh, being sick and working is hard to cope. Oh yeah, of course, it's a bit copy-paste and not quite. It's not quite right just yet, but there is a messy idea of my plan. I just need at least 10 more, 8 more trees, possibly. More canopy, and then shrubbery and texture underneath. So basically that is that you come through here. That's a dead end, and you go down here again, or if you go down here. Ooh, you find something up there. I'll go down again and go. And here is something you can miss if you go down here instead, or something along the line of that, really. Just conveniently hide a dungeon out of mind and out of sight, but also hint at its location. Whoa, dude. But I'm gonna stop for now. Been fun. See you around, stay awesome. Like and follow me on social media, link down below, and I'll be on tomorrow in all likelihood. But right now I need to lay down because I'm feeling very unwell.